So I'm very glad to be with you all today, and it is May Day, and I just had to mention that because I remember as a kid in school, you'd have that maypole with all the ribbons, and it's a time to plant the flowers and all that good stuff, and so I just want to acknowledge May Day. But my topic today is love without fear, to open the doorway of our heart wide to love, wide to love. From 1 John 18, verse 4, it's written, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out all fear." Several months ago, I think I gave him this topic for May 1st, and now we're in the midst of, we're still riding that wave of the pandemic. Now we have a war on the planet, and it's like, and you're going to talk about love without fear? And it's like, yes, you are, Patty. And so it's allowed me to really go into that inner space within my own self. And I recognize that perhaps you have felt sometime in your life the incredibleness of fear. Maybe someone came and scared you, or we just turn on the TV and you can start to kind of feel fear. But it was interesting because I remembered a dream I had when I was just a little bitty girl. And it's always stayed with me, so it must have been quite the experience I had. And the dream was like this. I was swinging on a swing, and it was one of those swings on a tree, with the ropes, and holding a little seat. And it had a little wooden back. So I must have been pretty tiny, because my little back's next to the swing going back and forth. And all of a sudden in this dream, down these ropes and on the back of this little chair, my back, and all over were these poisonous snakes. And I remember just screaming. I was so afraid. And no doubt that woke up both my parents, because I remember then that they were both there, by my bedside holding me, telling me I was okay and that I was loved. So that had to be an incredible little nightmare, because I still remember that. And so I think a lot of times we have those kind of experiences, and fear kind of becomes those poisonous snakes. It's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this? And so fear has played a role in our lives, but we must remember today that also kindness and love has always played an incredible role in our lives. That's so important for us to remember. And fear is just this incredible character. And in just a minute, I want to kind of try to explain the character of fear. But right now, I want to share something from Buddha. The Buddha taught that all beings feel a deep sense of fear or anxiety, which stems from the fact that we resist the impermanence of our existence, partly because of this reality that fear is accepted as an innate aspect of the human experience, any of the human experiences. And any person who wishes to awaken is considered a warrior, considered a spiritual warrior. So today, I would love to have us all of us present here at Mile High and all our beautiful congregation online, to be able to open to the experience of what I call the land of love intelligence. Love intelligence is one word, that phrase I use for God, because I sense that God is an intelligence and it is a love. And so that love intelligence, it has that power of love that can conquer fear. But let's just kind of look at fear for a moment. What in the world is fear? Well, it's been called many things, and I just want to quote Yoda, that incredible character. There he is. Thank you, Yoda, for being here. Yoda said, fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger, and anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. Now, I don't know if we have the slide of the picture of Ernest Holmes. Okay. Now, are there any resemblances? Years ago, many, many years ago, the artist I have at home the original drawing of Yoda, and it was placed next to Ernest Holmes. And I swear they must have channeled a very wise man, Dr. Ernest Holmes and Yoda. But Yoda said that anger leads to hate and hate leads to suffering. I sense that anger is a wanting or a not wanting. Think of little kids. You know, I want this, no, I don't want it. So it's kind of a push and pull energy that many of us have felt in our own growth and awakening. And fear lives in a land all its own. And it's a land of love, not love, what am I saying, Patty? It's a land of no intelligence. And a description that I wrote, it's kind of creative, so I hope you like it, that fear has a large shadow, but itself is quite small. Fear is composed of horror music in the middle of the night. And the atmosphere is, of course, uncertainty. We could say that fear is even false evidence appearing real over and over again. And if we created this land of no intelligence, the street signs are marked wrong way, wrong way. And the atmosphere is of apathy and greed. They have a bank in the land of no intelligence, and it is called the Bank of No Trust. They also have a saloon in the land of no intelligence, and on the front of the saloon is called the Bully Bar. Because I sense that energy of bullying ourselves. Many times bullying ourselves is that of fear, it's uncertainty. It's not realizing who we are as a spiritual being. And I also recognize that fear is very contagious. And the people of the land of no intelligence have totally moved away from love. They're hanging out with fear. They have built their houses on sand. That sand shifts, and so there's constant change that's taking place. Doesn't sound like a really fun place to be. But I would be the first one to say that I have spent maybe a night or two in the land of no intelligence. You don't have to say you have either, okay? But I recognize that in that land, there's a lot of judgments, and even with racism, you know, judging each other, not being willing to be open to understand who we are as spiritual beings. I also sense that war comes from fear. And conflict is a choice not to love. And if there were enough love, we could melt all the guns of war. I'm going to say that again. Yeah. If there was enough love, we can melt all the guns of war. Dr. Thomas Hoare of existential metapsychiatry, he said this: what are we interested in? What do we really, really cherish? And he came up with 3 things. Pretty simple, but it's profound. We're interested in fear, got fear. We have hate. But thank heavens we have love. And so when we're walking and talking our days, what am I interested in? And I have to ask myself that quite often. Are you interested in love, or have you moved all the way over here to fear? And so we have that ability within us to be able to shift and change. We can work smart. We can work smart to open the doorway of heart. I want to share a story with you, true story. Many, many years ago, in elementary school, I had a really tough time, and that was before I think people even knew what dyslexia was. Now I can say it. I'm really proud I can say the word. But I did a lot of tutoring. My family was very kind to me, especially my mother. She always believed in me. And now I'm a teenager. I'm going to junior high. And in junior high, the teacher would have you stand and read a paragraph out of a book, whatever. Oh my God, that would scare me. Oh, I would just almost get sick. And so I told my mom, I don't want to go to school. Don't make me go to school. Now I'm a teenager, so I'm supposed to be really cool going to school, but I am in such fear. And my mom was a pretty simple lady. She was a good heart. My husband remembers her. And she said, Patty, you got to do this. And I probably have shared this with some of you in counseling. When you walk up the steps to the school and you reach out and you open that door, I want you to silently repeat to yourself, love, love, love. And I thought, love, love, love. And she kept saying that. Patty, silently repeat love, love, love. And you'll be able to step through. If you feel the fear, just repeat love, love, love. Well, I certainly did that. And I do that today many times. Love, 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 love. I shared that once with a gentleman who was going to court. And so I gave him Mom's little formula. I said, when you walk into that courtroom, I want you to silently just repeat, love, 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 love. So he did. And then later on that day, he called me and goes, I did that, and the judge didn't show up. I said, well, don't be upset with that. Don't be upset with that. Just keep staying love, love, love. And of course, once he went back to court, things went well. So you might want to try that little formula on. So one of the greatest discoveries man makes, one of his greatest surprises, is to find he can do what he was afraid to. And Nelson Mandela said this, the brave person is not one who does not feel afraid, but who conquers the fear. Conquers the fear. So over here we have the land of no intelligence, but I want to create a land of love intelligence. This land of love intelligence is that land of living oneness. We talk a lot here at our community about oneness. We are one. What are we one with? We're not one with our fear. We're one with love. What is love if love is not God? What is God? I know there's 101 definitions of God. My God is no longer the grandpa in the sky. It's an embodiment. It's who I am. It's who you are. And that oneness to me, probably about 2 years ago now, right in the beginning of the pandemic, I said one day in my quiet time, I said, I know I like to say spirit, not God. That feels good to me. Some of you call it the divine. Does it have a quality? Can I refer to it as a quality? And boom, what came to me was harmonic love. God is harmonic love. And I think about nature itself. You know, when you're walking in nature, the plants, the trees, the birds, the flowers, all of aspects of nature, the water. There's a harmonic, there's a balance there. You know, if it gets too hot, it knows that it seeks water. It knows how to balance itself. So I love that harmonic love. That's my new definition of God itself. And Ernest Holmes wrote, I think it was in 1928, someone asked him, Ernest, what do you guys believe? And I'm just only going to share 2 of these that he wrote. He said, we believe in the incarnation of the Spirit in man, and that all men are incarnations of the one Spirit. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. To all. Pretty profound. And so a lot of times I think about life as a puzzle. My daughter loves jigsaw puzzles. If you ever want to give her something, give her a jigsaw puzzle. And she just loves those. And they are fun. And the times that I have worked with a puzzle, you know, here you're building the scene. You're building life. And it's like, what's this dark piece over here? Oh, I think it fits right here. Oh, it was a shadow, the beautiful shadow of a beautiful tree. It brought the whole picture together. But what I recognize is that the missing piece in our great jigsaw puzzle of life is love itself. It is love. And so daily, we need to work as smart as possible to remember, things seem kind of wonky today. The missing piece. Love, love, love. Bring it back in. So the Bible, once again, there's no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. And Judy Blume, she wrote this: each of us must confront our own fear, must come face to face with them. How we handle our fears will determine where we go with the rest of our lives, to experience adventure or to be limited by fear itself. So it's important that we burn off the fog of fear. And there's a lot of fear out there in our world right now. Find the missing piece. The other day I was with two other friends. We started to talk about the war. And all of a sudden we looked at each other and we just stopped. And the one gentleman, he said, this is the time that each one of us, and I'm saying to all of us, it's not just me, it's all of us together. This is a time we need to stand in the light and to live that oneness. We read about it when we take our classes here. You know, it's been written for century upon century that God is love. Redefine it for yourself so that it's honest and it's true for you. But we are light bearers, and we need to stand in that light like never before. That was our discussion. And to stand sturdy in that spiritual truth, because we are that essence of love. And to know love is to know that love is a medicine. Our Native American friends and family define medicine as essence. And perhaps you have heard, you have read, that the Native American or the indigenous would say, oh, you have good medicine. It means you have good essence. You have good light about you. You're aligned. So I say to each one of you, you all have good medicine, and that medicine is love itself. And so it's important that we stand sturdy in that. I also sense the power of the great buffalo. You know, buffaloes are so big, and they're pretty bold, but they're actually pretty gentle animals, but they stand really sturdy, and you probably have seen pictures of them. There's a terrible snowstorm, and the buffalo is just standing in that storm, connected and so sturdy. Many times in recovery work, we utilize that symbol of the buffalo because we might be challenged by a lot of things, but life is asking us to stand sturdy in the midst of the storm. And so that's where we are as a congregation. That's where we are as a human being, to stand sturdy in the storms of life itself. Ernest Holmes also wrote, he said, love is at the center of our being, and the calm, continuous pulsation of life are governed by love. Governed by love. Well, I realize that love will turn us around. And it is love that is holding the child close to the mother's heart. It is also love that is lifting the grandmas, the grandmothers, onto the trains to go to Poland. That's love. So in this world, we all are brothers and sisters. We may have different colored skin, speak a different language, practice a different religion. We've had different experiences, but in the light of love, we are all equal. So I feel very strongly that we are at the doorway of incredible advancement. And you might say, geez, Patty, how can you say that? What's happening? Well, in January, I was asked to go to Peru as a speaker. And I was very honored to be there. And I was there several days, and there was a lot of beautiful ceremonies that went on. And I got to meet a lot of incredible beings that believe in love, that they believe in the natural law of life itself. And I remember one day, We were all standing in a circle, and we had done a lot of prayer work together. And all of a sudden, everyone's staring at the sun. Well, my mom taught me not to stare right at the sun, right? But they're all staring at the sun. And you know what? Something changed in the sun. I saw it myself. And after that, there were smiles on these people, and we all got together and they said, we're in a new cycle. In fact, we are about 15 minutes into the new world. And then I came back home, and I recognized that there's a war going on. So I'm thinking, So this is just my sense of this. That many times when there's so much light, doesn't it bring forth what has been hateful and fearful and not in alignment? Kind of like an old boil, boiling up, coming forth. And I know there's probably been throughout the ages, probably a lot of people standing in a pulpit saying, well, we just got out of that war, and I'm affirming there's never going to be any war ever again. I'm sure that's happened from time to time throughout history. But I'm saying with all my might today, be a light bearer. Because those who are so tuned to Grandmother Earth and to the heavens know that we're moving towards the light. Do not be afraid, because you are light. And stand in that sturdiness of that light. So it's about opening doors, and it's about that medicine, that essence. It's not about that I'm intelligent. It's an intelligence that's above intelligence. It's that cosmic compass that is present everywhere. Always has been and always will be. That's the intelligence. So when one door closes, another door opens. But we so often look long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we don't move. The door has been closed, and we're moving forward. And it's asking us to understand ourselves. Now you might say, well, I don't know if I'm there yet. I don't know, some of you might be as old as I am to remember Milton Berle, who was a comedian. You remember, right? Milton Berle, he was kind of a funny guy. And he said this, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. So you might have to build a door. Build a door. And what is that door? It is building the door of understanding. Building a door of greater understanding. 72 times in the Bible it's been written, recorded. If you get nothing else, get understanding. What is understanding? It's standing on that truth. It's standing with compassion and knowing that greater. And Ernest said, divine ideas stand back of all human thought, seeking a mission through the doorway of mind. The doorway of that greater intelligence is a doorway of mind. So opening the doors to love's presence, doorway to conscious, being awake, awareness. In Peru, every time we go there, our tour guide, who's a wonderful being, he always teaches, especially when we go to Machu Picchu, those structures there are still so strong. And when you enter a doorway there, you're to put your hand on either side of the door in gratitude. Gratitude for the passing. And I'm even asking you today, maybe when you leave or when you go home to your house, just take a moment, pause, put both hands on either side of that door with gratitude, coming from that place of heart. And so, the doorway of gratitude, the doorway of the sacred heart. We each have a sacred heart, and that is that love, love, love. Love is the central flame, the central flame. So that's the first door that we enter. And from that place, there's another doorway, a doorway of acceptance, which is a state of consciousness. And we cultivate acceptance when we accept life as it is and people as they are. You stop trying to fix other people. We have enough work right here to be able to just be, right? To be everything that we can be. Acceptance is the door to love without conditions, without the attachments. Life is forever asking us to be in that consciousness of acceptance. It takes courage. Courage comes from heart. The third door is forgiveness. And forgiveness, I feel very strongly, needs to be a daily spiritual practice. Some definitions of forgiveness is to stop blaming self and others. Forgiveness is about giving back to forgiving, giving back to ourselves who we are as a spiritual being, and sensing the other person as a spiritual being. And of course, we know in the world the opposite states of consciousness are blaming, shaming, and grievances. Ugh. Come back to yourself. And without it, forgiveness, there can be no correction or redemption. Fourth door. The door of gratitude, generosity. And generosity comes from our open heart. It is an act of love, generosity. Every time we give and receive, everything that you have given in the last 2 years and you continue to give to Mile High Church is received with generosity. It's received with gratitude. The memory of gratitude lives within our hearts. So think of all people who have loved you, and all the people that will love you. Think of all the people you love right now, and that you will continue to love. So right now, in closing, if it feels right to you, take your right hand and just place it upon your heart. That sacred, sacred doorway. And I'm going to ask that we repeat the vision and the mission of Mile High Church. It's up on the screens. And with that sense of a whole, powerful, loving community, which we are, we speak this. Our vision, oneness revealed, a world of love, peace, and abundance for all. And our mission, to serve as a spiritual beacon for personal empowerment and global enlightenment. So right now I ask the practitioners in the room if you would please stand with me while I offer a prayer. And in this moment, just tuning, standing with sturdiness of spirit, each one of us recognizing that harmonic love, recognizing that God life, that divinity, that is the very blueprint of who we are as spiritual beings. Oh, I recognize how that imprint, it is our DNA, it is our divine natural assimilation. It is who we are and always will be. So I just behold that this living truth that we stand upon, we sense the very beat of our hearts. Beholding this truth for all humanity, all human beings, to be that light, to be that love. And for everyone who has been affected by fear, may they sense the gentleness and the strength of love. And so I give thanks for this. I give thanks for that world that works for everyone. I give thanks for the light of the sun. I give thanks for the light of the spiritual light that shines so brightly through each one of you. and with gratitude from the place of Sacred Heart, we release these words this day. We release them into that love intelligence that knows and manifests and brings forth a pathway of divine love and light. Now and forever I give thanks for this, and I release these words as spoken, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you.